Alright everybody, it is time for a toolbox tool drawer review. Say that 5 times fast. This is my KTL 1023 and this is the very top drawer of my box. And as you can see, this is what 20 years worth of tool buying looks like. So let's get into it. I'll just kind of start out with one side, work my way over. First of all, these are magnetic mats. I like them a lot. See, you can do this all day long. Nothing rolls around except for the stuff that's not on magnets. Bought those probably 12 years ago. Can't even remember where I bought them from. I honestly think it was Harbor Freight and they don't have them anymore. Anyway, so we got impacts on this side basically, and we've got chromies on that side. We've got my assortment of ratchets over here, power tools or cordless tools, whatever you want to call them. We hardly ever use air anymore these days in shops. And of course, all of my extensions. So starting over here, I've got a set of, these are still my original impacts from tech school. So these are S&K. This is S&K. And then we start with Snap-on, Snap-on. These are these Matco swivels. I'll talk about those a little bit later. Then Snap-on here, more Snap-on. Oh, these are S&Ks. These I use a lot for doing the European, some of the European stuff. Right in here, I've kind of got like a little specialty section. This is all Subaru stuff here, Subaru related things here. And then moving over to this side where the chromies are, we got a set of Max, and then we've got a set of Snap-on, and a set of Snap-on, Snap-on. These are still my original S&Ks. Spark plug sockets, those are Snap-on. Snap-on Allens, Snap-on Torx, Snap-on E-Torx as they're called, and then kind of the universals here, and a little Snap-on. All right. So let's see here. These guys, these have got to be my favorite 3/8 inch drive impact swivels. As you can see, they're pinless and they don't have a collar on them. They are what they call a splined impact, and these are Matcos. Bought them years ago. But I think you can find them on Amazon now, and they're under the name of Gear Wrench. So probably same manufacturer, same. You get DIY guys, don't have the trucks that come to you every day, or not every day, but every week, and you'd be able to find those on Amazon now, which is great. I'm surprised there's a lot of tool companies still in business because of Amazon. Starting here, these are half inch, and then we drop down to 3/8. I don't go any less than 3/8 on impact. And again, half inch, 3/8, quarter, and then 3/8, and then quarter stuff here. So 3/8 deep, 3/8 or half inch deep, 3/8 deep, quarter inch shallow. Right. Well, these are 3/8 shallow, and then down to quarter inch swivel, and then quarter inch shallow. We got my extensions over here. Starting, I kind of have them organized, flip-flop, so they all fit nicely. I love these little, what they call a wobble extension. So if you take this little Bad Mama Jamma, I think those are Max, and then you take a quarter inch. You can do the same thing with my 3/8, and then you get this little bit of extra focus, a little bit of extra wiggle room, and that makes all the difference in the world for accessing tight spots or just being able to get into things in general. Got locking extensions as well. These are, where are these? Matcos. They lock so you don't lose your sockets. Really good thing. And of course, then so you got quarter inch, and it goes up to 3/8, and then we got some halves. Here's a 1/2 inch, there's 1/2 inch right there. These are impacts, and these are impacts as well, these little black guys, but they're the same diameter as far as the extensions go as the chromes, so they fit in there. No need to buy 2 sets of that kind of stuff. This guy here, this big huge long extension, 1/2 inch drive on one side, 3/8 inch drive on the other. I think it's about 32 inches long or so. Used to use that for when I did a lot of transmission work working at a Nissan, Isuzu dealership. Hardly ever use it anymore since I've pretty much been a Subaru tech for the past 15 out of my 20-year career. Let's talk about some of my favorite torque sticks. These are great. I have a set of them. This is a 80 pounder and this is a 100 pounder, and what those do is they limit the torque when you're tightening down lug nuts. So your impact hits, it stops at 80 or 100 pounds depending on what kind of car you're working on, and I test them monthly to make sure they're staying within torque spec. Ratchets, of course. Here's my favorite little 1/4 inch drive ratchet. It's really cool. You can move the head into some pretty unique little spots. Whole bunch of little, as you can see. So each one of those little dots is a move. And this is a Mac. Don't even know if they make it anymore. I don't even know if Mac's still in business. Seems like Snap-on's still around. Matco's, we have a Matco guy that comes to us, or has started coming to us. I'm not going to comment on Matco tools, but I've noticed that their quality of tools have decreased greatly over the past 10 years, so don't buy much. Pretty much a Snap-on guy, and I can talk about tool trucks and stuff later. My main go-to ratchet for 3/8. This guy's awesome for spark plugs. I use that on spark plugs for Subarus a lot. This is an old S&K that I had from tech school. And then of course some long 3/8 and some little shorty guys. These things are great to get in, little dash work, little tight spots. Got to have the torque sticks because I also work on Europeans as well, mainly Volvo and BMW. Favorite, this guy here, I started out with these Milwaukees, and they're good. You know what? And for the DIY guy, these things work great. 3/8 and 1/4, and I still use those quite a bit. But this bad mamma jamma, this Snap-on long reach power ratchet, it gets into the spots that you can't get into because these little heads get in the way a lot. You can't get down, and then the body is too big. But with this guy, you have the access to get down into the spots that you need to get down in. This is my go-to dude. I use this all day, every day. Real quick, 1/4 inch drive, power driver, great for taking off small fasteners and stuff like that, belly pans, all kinds of miscellaneous stuff. I use him. What's going on? Use that bad mamma jamma all day long, all day. These two guys here, use them all day, every day. And if you're wondering why my tools look so good, well, it's just because I take care of them, and there's a special way that I clean them up that I can show you. Like I said, a lot of these tools are coming in on over 20 some odd years, anywhere from 20 to, well, shoot, I just bought a tool the other day. So you're always buying tools as a technician. Favorite sockets, of course, these. The pinless impacts, 3/8 inch drive. Have a set of those go up clear from 10 to 24, 22. No, 24. There we go. Those are great. Now, let me talk about these. These Snap-on Torx or Flank Drive Extra. These sockets are super cool. They've been redesigned and they can take up to 80% rounded. And let me tell you what, they get a little bit taken used to. Once you get used to how they fit on the fastener, those things are awesome. I have them in the 3/8 shorty and then the 3/8 deep. and they will take a fastener off that you have rounded off or is rounded off or is rusted, and they just have saved my butt 1,000 times. And I highly recommend, if you're a professional technician or just a DIY guy that is a builder or works on cars a lot, spend the money, buy those Snap-on flank drive extra sockets. They are the shit. Different spark plugs. These are for the Euros, or like and some of the modern day Subarus, little 14 mil jobber, and then of course old school 5/8 and 5/8 and these swivels, which I hardly ever use anymore. And then you'll also need a 13 mil if you plan on working on minis, but I don't recommend working on minis. This little guy here is a magnetic 10 mil. Use it a lot, obviously. That's the only magnetic socket I have, is that little 10 mil 1/4 inch, because that's all I feel like I've ever needed to use. Just like my 1/4 inch swivels, I have 7, 8, 10, 12, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, and 14. 13 because of Euro stuff. Okay, I think that's about it. These big huge boys here, really nice long 24-inch, 1/2 inch drive ratchet. This is a Matco I bought probably 10, 12 years ago, and the same in the breaker bar. Use those a lot as well, especially I got those specifically to take the crank bolt off of Subarus, and that's kind of what they get used for a lot most of the time, but sometimes I have to break them out and use it on other stuff. Like I said, this is all specialty Subaru right here. You know, like this little guy, that's not a normal Torx bit. That is a Torx 40 plus, and it is for taking off the cam carriers on certain Subaru motors. These guys, again, right, they're semi deep. I only have them in 17, 19, and this is to get into the suspension to adjust camber while you are doing alignment with the vehicle on the rack, and you got to get inside behind the wheel. Did I say wheel? Is it rim? Is it wheel? Is it tire? Who knows? That is, I do believe, the scenario and summary of basically my socket drawer, and it's a lot. And yes, my tools look like this all the time. I organize my stuff and clean it up every day and put it away, even though I might stick it up there as I'm working throughout the day. All right, everyone, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time.